Hi guys, welcome to another How Schmoo Draws. This one will be about feet. And I would like to start with the breakdown of the feet. I like to think of the feet as three connected up shapes. There are a couple of more, but those are the main shapes. The heel, the ball of the foot, and the bridge connecting them up. And this bridge is a bit slanted to the outside of the foot and leaves a hollow on the inside of the foot. When done with that, I like to add, when I position my shapes, and you can position these shapes to each other however you want, and they will automatically create a perspective of the foot. I then add the shape of the toe, the big toe, and the grouped shape of the four toes. Depending on the perspective, sometimes you can't see the other toes, obviously, but yeah, that's how I sort of work when in the breakdown of the feet. And what I think of as hard with feet is sort of the perspective, so to get them in perspective, like, for example, underneath. And I still keep thinking of my shapes. The heel at the back, the foot pad, and then the connected bridge. And here you can see nicely as well how this bridge is making a hollow on the inside of the foot, but doesn't on the outside. And yeah. Super wonky toes is completely normal. I looked at so much references of toes today. They're pretty ugly toes, and I think they didn't have to all be even and everything, so just sort of, I think it's okay if they're crooked, and you don't always have to give all the details. It's enough to hint them. Sometimes there's like sort of a shadow in between the toes. You don't have to actually draw a line always. Sometimes it's enough to just sort of drop a little shadow, and it will be obvious then that's the toe. Yeah, or the decision whether to do fingernails or not. That's totally up to you, and I like to add them. I said this in the finger tutorial as well. I just like to add them because they sort of show me the perspective of the foot even better. Okay, the feet are very bendy, and that's where these shapes come in handy again. You can sort of position them any way you want. Well, not completely anyway, but as bendy as the feet are, and then you just sort of connect them up, like the heel, the foot pad, and then connect them up. You sort of place the triangle when the foot is stepping on the floor. You place your triangle on the floor, and then add the heel and the bridge. Or in the other direction, when the foot is bent in the other direction, there's sort of excess skin, which will be all crumpled up, and maybe the toes are curling in. There again, they can be a complete shape together, and where that's just sort of the intersections show. And yeah, that makes me come to the toes, because I think it's again like with the hands, it's always annoying to sort all the toes, and usually one doesn't fit. I have that constantly as well, but with the group you sort of can go, okay, this is the space I have, and I would like to place 3, and then maybe the little tiny toe as an afterthought, because often you can't always, the perspective doesn't allow to show you the small toe. I mean, obviously depending on the perspective of the foot, but often the little toe just sort of gets lost in perspective. But yeah, always start off with a group, and then in this group you can intersect the toes, and they don't even have to always be completely toe shaped. Try stylizing stuff as well. And when you draw your foot, and you would like to change the perspective around, it's just sort of, I did this here, I drew the foot in one perspective, and then I pushed the shapes against each other, sort of that they were not as open, but more overlapping, and by that I can change the perspective of the foot. Always think in these three shapes, and you'll get a great. I think that's just so the most important bit, and well, three shape plus the toes. And what I like to do when the foot is very frontal, I like to draw the toes by connecting them up to the other main foot by drawing the knuckles of the toe, sort of like just sort of the heel, the top part, and that often gives you a very nice perspective for the toes. So you don't have to draw these tubes pointing towards us, but since the toes are also slightly bent, you can see the knuckles, and that's where I sort of start. They're my starting point for the toes pointing toward us. And now for some quick feet. I really like how you can sort of, by grouping the toes, you can get such nice shapes for the group, and then sort of placing the tiny toes in between can give you such interesting shapes. And particularly this foot, I really love how the toes just sort of happened and are so stylized and like little bendy tubes, but dynamic and sort of making a really nice shape all together. I mean, they're not completely realistic, but these kind of feet with simplified shapes, this is what I really like to get at. And I've gotten to these feet by drawing lots of other feet before, but even today, just at the end of drawing feet, I come to the point where I'm so loose and sort of playing with the shapes that I can truly achieve nice feet. From behind, feet work very much in the same way as from the front. It's again the connecting up. Just start off with the heel from the other side, and then it's just turned around, and then you get the foreshortened toes, which can be a bit annoying, but it's the same thing. It's the grouping of the toes, how much of the toes you can actually see, and all these feet were drawn from reference. So by not using reference, I can draw feet by using these shapes, but obviously for really nice, unique shapes, it's very helpful to study the real feet. I will always say it. You have to practice from reference. That's only how you'll get in the flow of drawing stuff, and I think that's really important. Especially that's what I like about feet, because you can sort of have them flowing out of your leg and sort of with a kind of bendiness and beauty, which you can basically only achieve if you practice those feet. I used to hate them. They used to be really stubby when I started to draw them, but that was because I sort of just imagined how feet were supposed to look. And once you sort of start understanding the shapes, they can be so much fun. So I hope I could make you want to draw feet, and see you next time. Love you guys. Bye bye.